What's up, super fans? It is Fit Nerd from Superheroes Ultimate. Welcome to another episode of Heroes Finest. And today we're going to be discussing Boba Fett. Who is he? Where did he come from? Why does he have his own solo series if he's only had about 6 minutes worth of screen time in the entire Star Wars canon? Well, we are here to clarify all of those things for you in one single video, and hopefully you will understand more about this character and actually really like him at the end of it. We are doing a 50k subscriber giveaway for the Nano Iron Man Gauntlet, fully loaded with the Infinity Stones and LED lights. Simply hit the subscribe button, comment below, and like this video. Now, of course, in order to explain the character of Boba Fett, there will be some spoilers from both episode 1 and 2 of the book of Boba Fett. Now, if you have not seen them and don't want any spoilers about the show, then I suggest you just pause this video, hit the subscribe button, and come back to it later when you've seen the episode. If you don't know anything about Boba Fett and are still wanting to see the rest of this and actually understand the character a little bit more, then you could still go back and watch the episodes after watching this video, and you might actually like a little bit more of what they're doing in this series for the Book of Boba Fett. As we saw on the end credit scene of the season finale of season 2 of Mandalorian, with the end credit of Boba Fett going back to Jabba's palace to find Bib Fortuna has been running the show this entire time since his disappearance and the death of Jabba the Hutt, and killing Bib Fortuna, thus technically making him the new daimyo, which is a fancy way of saying that basically he's a new crime boss. And episode 1 takes off directly after not so greatest moments in Boba Fett history by being defeated by a blind Han Solo and getting thrown into the Sarlacc pit. Now, a lot of fans seeing Boba Fett returning are a little bit puzzled as to how he even survived the Sarlacc pit, which is actually explained in the first episode, which is actually directly what happened in the comics. A lot of people are not aware that he's actually been thrown in not only in the Sarlacc pit once, but twice. Now, I don't think they're going to use the second one and not make it canon towards the storyline that they're going with here, but he was thrown into the Sarlacc twice, and he did survive it. And if you guys want to read the issue where Boba Fett actually survived, go and pick up a copy of Star Wars Tale from Jabba's Palace, a barv like that. The Tale of Boba Fett. Yeah, the longest title ever for a comic book, and that is the issue where we see Boba Fett crawling out of the Sarlacc. And unlike the MCU, where we have most of our sources from the comic books only, and they use these type of sources from the comic books into the cinematic universe, when it comes to Star Wars characters, their sourcing is basically from all around the place, which includes comic books, previous movies, animated series, and books themselves. And not to be confused with The Mandalorian, even though in The Mandalorian he worked with a bunch of Mandalorians and his father was a Mandalorian, Boba Fett is not actually a Mandalorian, even though he's suited up like one. Boba Fett is actually a clone from Jango Fett, and we have actually seen the majority of his life on the previous movies as well. Now, here's the beautiful thing about Disney Plus is that you can actually go back to the previous films and shows and watch these certain parts, and I have dissected it and broken it down for you so you can actually go back and just watch them without watching the entirety of the movie. Beginning with Star Wars Attack of the Clones, right around 1 hour and 51 minutes in, where we see his father Jango Fett get his ass kicked by Mace Windu, sporting a full Beskar armor just like we see in The Mandalorian. Then you can go right into Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back at about 1 hour and 6 minutes, where we see him getting hired by Darth Vader to go hunt down Han Solo. Following that, you can go right into Star Wars Return of the Jedi and pretty much watch the first 37 minutes that explains what happened to Jabba's palace, who killed him, how Boba died the first time around, how Boba ended up in the Sarlacc pit, and then you can fast forward all to the current events in The Mandalorian, beginning with the cameo that happened in the end credit of Season 1, Episode 5. Then you can go to Season 2, Episode 6, titled The Tragedy, where we see Boba Fett return with his badass staff and show off his staff skills, take down a bunch of stormtroopers. Following that, you can go into Season 2, Episodes 7 and 8, which are just by far the best episodes in all of the Mandalorian series, in my opinion, which will lead you to the very first episode of Boba Fett coming out of the Sarlacc pit. And if you want to learn even more about Boba Fett, then you can actually go and pick up Boba Fett, which is a series of books published by Scholastic, written by Terry Bison and Elizabeth Hand, which is a 6-book series about Boba Fett's teenage years, which are between Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones and Star Wars 3 Revenge of the Sith. So yeah, Boba Fett has been around for quite a bit, even though you've only seen him for 6 minutes on screen. His character development has been existing for a very long time. And right in Episode 1, where we see Boba get mugged by a bunch of Jabba. The Jabbas are basically the space street versions of the people that take your car and put it on bricks. That's the Jabbas. And then just like in The Mandalorian, bringing out more of that Star Wars lore with bringing in the Sand People, the Tusken Raiders, who found Boba and made him a slave. Now, of course, killing Bib Fortuna, the previous daimyo, and taking in 2 loyal Gamorreans, you know, those big green pigs that we've seen previously in Return of the Jedi, what, 30, 40 years ago, led immediately to gaining some beef with the mayor, which leads to a team of assassins by the name of the Order of the Night Wind to go and take care of Boba Fett. Now, I'm really loving the way and going back with flashbacks every time he's injured, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be injured throughout the majority of the show and always ending up in his healing chamber, so we can find out what happened between the events of escaping the Sarlacc pit and being the new daimyo. Now, after taking a lot of crap from the Sand People and digging up a bunch of milk watermelons from the sand, giving us a really badass fight scene against this gigantic Goro lizard looking thing, and gaining the respect of the Tusken Raiders. Captain Kirk would be proud. Which leads me to Episode 2, where he confronts the mayor about the assassin from the Order of the Night's Wind. And the mayor discusses with Boba on how it's on the difficulty of breaking a family, basically meaning that everybody still answers to the Hutt, giving us the introduction to the twins, which are cousins of the previous Jabba, as we know him as Jabba the Hutt, which brings me to the coolest part, which is the introduction of the Wookiee bounty hunter, Black Coruscant. Now, unlike most of the characters that we have been already seeing here in this show, this gladiator bounty hunter badass Wookiee made his first appearance in Darth Vader issue number 1 back in 2015, which kind of makes me wonder if we're going to see Chewbacca make an appearance in this show going up against this Wookiee. And you really gotta love these flashback scenes are possibly my favorite parts so far with the last 2 episodes, where we find out where he got his sweet staff skills that we saw in The Mandalorian. Now, I don't know what it is with Star Wars and their naming of these vehicles, like the AT-AT, but then we have speeder bikes, and for a galaxy far, far away, why are these names so universal to things that we would understand in Earth, like a train? Why didn't they call it like a speeder worm or a speed dragon or a hover worm? Like something cooler, not just a train. This is where we get our first test kind of for Boba utilizing his new staff skills against a bunch of reptilian creatures, where he steals a bunch of speeder bikes and begins, well, his own speeder bike driver's ed with the Sand People to take down the speed dragon. See, Star Wars, I'm only a phone call or DM away. If you want some better ideas on these cool vehicles, then, you know, just hit me up. We get our reintroduction to another Star Wars familiar face with the Pike, who are trafficking spice. Now, the very first time that the Pike were even mentioned in Star Wars canon was in Star Wars A New Hope by Han Solo, who famously stated that he did the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs.
It's a ship that made the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
And then fast forward to where we fully get introduced into them, which is the Clone Wars Season 5, Episode 14, called Eminence, and where we learn that the Pike Syndicate are basically the cartel that handles the drug smuggling in all of the galaxy. Now, not only in the Boba Fett is it serving to actually bring back characters that we have seen in previous Star Wars lore, but this is our first time seeing a live action version of the Pike Syndicate. So far in just the first 2 episodes, we have gotten so much more character development for a character that we have seen trickled in all of the Star Wars lore of comic books, movies, and animated series. And it's actually really cool that he finally gets his own series to give him a platform for more character development of this really awesome character. There you have it. There's a long, rich history to the character of Boba Fett. The Book of Boba Fett. Hopefully this helps explain a little bit more about the character and where he's coming from. He didn't come out of nowhere. He's been all over the Star Wars lore. Now, if you guys want me to discuss more about the twins or even the bounty hunter Wookiee, which I'll be glad to talk about more, place it in the comments below. We are doing a 50k subscriber giveaway for the Nano Iron Man Gauntlet, fully loaded with the Infinity Stones and LED lights. Simply hit the subscribe button, comment below, and like this video. And of course, if you want to show some support for the channel and get some more official merch, which includes t-shirts, tank tops, mugs, totes, stickers, face masks, and so much more. So if you want to check out some of our latest official merch, take a look right below the video. Or some cool apparel and collectibles, I placed all the links in the description below. Until next, super fans, this is Fit Nerd, over and out.